Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Nita Gaura Hari Bo Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nita Gaura Hari Bol, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Welcome everyone for our daily Bhagavad Gita class. Today we are going to see the verse number 14 from chapter 9. I'm sharing the verse on the Zoom, and you may recite one line as I continue. Satatam kirtayanto mam
Satatam kirtayanto mam
yatantascha drudhavrataha
yatantascha drudavrataha
namasyantascha mam bhaktya
namasyantascha mam bhaktya
nitya yukta upasate.
nitya yakta
upasate.
upashate.
Satatam kirtayanto mam
Satatam
Satatam
kriyanto
kirtayanto
anto
mam
mam
yatantascha drudhavrataha
yatantascha
yatantascha
drudhavrataha
drudavrataha
namasyantascha mam bhaktya
namasyantascha mam
namasyantascha mam
bhaktya
bhakta
nitya yukta upasate.
nitya
nitya
yukta
yakta
upasate.
upashate.
Anyone would like to recite? Please proceed.
Satatam kirtayanto mam
Satatam
Satatam
kriyanto yato
kirtayanto
mam
mam
yatantascha drudhavrataha
yatatancha
yatantascha
vratavrata
drudhavrataha
namasyantascha mam bhaktya
namasyantascha
namasyantascha
mam
mam
bhaktya
bhaktya
nitya yukta upasate.
nitya
nitya
yakta
yukta
upashate.
upasate.
Shatatam kriyanto yanto mam
Satatam
Satatam
kirtayanto
kirtayanto
mam
mam
yatantascha dritavara
yatantascha drudhavrataha
Yatantash
nam
namasyantascha mam bhaktya.
Sujata Mataji is chanting Radhika. Let her finish, okay?
namasyantascha mam vyakta
Namasyantascha mam bhaktya
nitya yakta upashate.
nitya yukta upasate. Now you can go, Radhika.
Yeah.
Satatam kirtayanto mam
Satatam
Satatam kriyanto
kirtayanto
yanto
mam
mam
yatantascha dhritavitaha
yatantascha
yatatancha
drudhavrataha
dhrityavrita
namasyantascha mam bhaktya
namasyantascha mam
namasyantascha
bhaktya
bhaktya
nitya yukta upasate.
nitya
nitya
yukta
yakta
upasate.
upashate.
Very nice.
Thank you, Radhika. Anyone else who would like to recite, or if not, we can start with synonyms. Um, Satatam, always.
Satatam,
Satatam,
always.
always.
Kirtayantaha, chanting.
Tirtayantaha,
Tirtayantaha, chanting.
chanting.
Mam, about me.
Mam,
Mam,
about
about
me.
me.
Yatantaha, fully endeavoring.
Yatantaha,
Yatantaha,
fully
fully
endeavoring.
endeavoring.
Cha, also.
Cha,
Cha,
also.
also.
Drudha vrataha, with determination.
Dhruva
Tridhavrataha,
vritaha,
with
with
determination.
determination.
Namasyantaha, offering obeisances.
Namasyantaha,
Namasyastantaha,
offering obeisances.
obeisances.
Cha, and.
Cha,
Cha,
and.
and.
Mam, me.
Mam,
Mam,
me.
me.
Bhaktya, in devotion.
Bhaktya,
Bhaktaya, in devotion.
Nitya yuktaha, perpetually engaged.
Nitya
Nityayuktaha,
yuktaha, perpetually
perpetually
engaged.
engaged.
Upasate, worship.
Upasate,
Upashate, worship.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. Purport. The Mahatma cannot be manufactured by rubber stamping an ordinary man. His symptoms are described here. A Mahatma is always engaged in chanting the glories of the Supreme Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead. He has no other business. He is always engaged in the glorification of the Lord. In other words, he is not an impersonalist. When the question of glorification is there, one has to glorify the Supreme Lord, praising His holy name, His eternal form, His transcendental qualities, and His uncommon pastimes. One has to glorify all these things. Therefore, a Mahatma is attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anyone who would like to read the next paragraph?
I can read.
Yeah, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
One who is attached to the impersonal feature of the Supreme Lord, the Brahma Jyotir, is not described as Mahatma in the Bhagavad Gita. He is described in a different way in the next verse. The Mahatma is always engaged in different activities of devotional service, as described in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Hearing and chanting about Vishnu, not a demigod or human being. That is devotion. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, and Smaranam, remembering him. Such a Mahatma has firm determination to achieve at the ultimate end of the association of the Supreme Lord in any one of the 5 transcendental rashas. To achieve that success, he engages all activities, mental, bodily, and vocal, everything, in the service of the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. That is called full Krishna consciousness.
Anyone who would like to read next?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Yeah, ma'am.
In devotional service, there are certain activities which are called determined, such as fasting on certain days, like the 11th day of the moon, Ekadashi, and on the appearance day of the Lord. All these rules and regulations are offered by the great acharyas for those who are actually interested in getting admission into the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the transcendental world. The Mahatmas, great souls, strictly observe all these rules and regulations, and therefore they are sure to achieve the desired result.
As
Anyone else?
described,
Yeah.
oh,
Go ahead, Mataji.
As described in the second verse of this chapter, not only is this devotional service easy, but it can be performed in a happy mood. One does not need to undergo any severe penance and austerity. He can live this life in devotional service, guided by an expert spiritual master, and any position, either as a householder or a sannyasi or a brahmachari, in any position and anywhere in the world. He can perform this devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and thus become actually Mahatma, a great soul.
Thank you, Mataji, for reading the purport. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarane Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktarunda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. The Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you everyone for joining the Bhagavad Gita class today. This particular verse 9.14, where Bhagavan Krishna is continuing explaining who are the Mahatmas, what they do. The verse that we saw yesterday, 9.13, that's where Bhagavan Krishna start speaking about Mahatma. Mahatma means, it's the two words, Mahan and Atma. Mahan means great and Atma means souls. And Bhagavan Krishna is explaining how we identify those Mahatma or those great souls. So Bhagavan Krishna says, always chanting my glories, Satatam Kirtayanto Mam, and endeavoring with great determination, that is Dridhavrata. So the endeavor is with the determination. And then bowing down, that is Namasya. And this great soul perpetually worship me, that is Nitya Yukta Upasate. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada, the first line itself, he starts saying that Mahatma cannot be manufactured by rubber stamping an ordinary man. And that is true, because even today and even when Prabhupada was around and even many years before, there are so-called sadhus in the society who pretend to be a spiritual person. However, in reality, they are attached to lots of material things, such as they may be enjoying intoxication, maybe alcohol, cigarettes, maybe associate with opposite gender. They are hankering for wealth, etc. However, externally they pretend to be a very transcendentalist in front of society. Now, Srila Prabhupada here kind of telling us that Mahatma cannot be manufactured just by having a word Mahatma in front of your name, saying Mahatma Madhava Kanta Prabhu. then this is the rubber stamping. And then you create that environment by having your we call in English word accomplices, meaning the people who are kind of supporting you in that bad act, and they also keep repeating the same Mahatma, Mahatma, Mahatma. So this is basically artificially someone is rubber stamping, saying he is Mahatma, and then people start believing, common man. But Srila Prabhupada said his symptoms are described here. The one who is always engaged in chanting the glories of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Now the chanting meaning chanting could be of many forms, right? Chanting could be japa, about japa, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra that devotees perform on the Tulsi bead. That is one form of chanting. Second is reading Krishna Katha, attending and hearing Bhagavatam Katha, right? So that is speaking about Krishna Katha. So that is chanting the glories of the Supreme Lord. So the Mahatma or great soul is always engaged in chanting the glories of Supreme Lord Krishna. So one instance that I was reading, Srila Prabhupada, I think probably the year maybe 1977 or 76, when he became very weak, but he was giving his most of his time with Swarup Damodar, His Holiness Swarup Damodar Maharaj. And he was on that day he was speaking with Swarup Damodar Maharaj, and that discussion was going on for a long time. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he noticed that. Now Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he felt that Srila Prabhupada now has become weak, and then maybe having so long conversation. So then I think he asked that can we go for kirtan? If I think that's the question he asked. Now Srila Prabhupada, I think he didn't like that, because that conversation he was kind of very into that conversation with Swarup Damodar Maharaj, and he didn't like Tamal Krishna Maharaj coming in and asking and kind of disturbing. So he asked question to Tamal Krishna Maharaj, what I am doing, is it that is also a kind of a chanting kirtan, right? Because whatever we discussing when we do any planning activity or any management activity, when the whole everything is around Krishna, that is also a chanting. Then he asked Tamal Krishna Maharaj, are you thinking, am I doing, oh, Hare Krishna. Okay, I think I lost my video. All right. So are you thinking, am I involved in illicit sex? Now the point to be taken at home here is Srila Prabhupada is saying that not just a singing kirtan, not just a doing japa on the bed, but any conversation that may be related to temple activities, preaching activities, book distribution, or anything that's related to Krishna is a chanting. So that one small incident I remember. And then what I would like to share in this today's class is a pastime from Chaitanya Charitamrita. And by having example of Narottam Das Thakur, who is a Mahatma, and how we can understand, and then using that example, we'll try to see the qualities of Mahatma, that is always chanting the glories and worshipping, bowing down. So we'll go through that example. So as we know, the Narottam Das Thakur. Let me. Oops. Okay. So great Acharya Srila Narottam Das Thakur, he was the son of a king. However, he left his home, he left his kingdom, and he went to Vrindavan. There he got initiated by one of the great associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His name is Srila Lokanath Goswami. Then Narottam Das Thakur was put under the care of Srila Jiva Goswami as well. Jiva Goswami taught him how to worship deity, how to chant holy name, and how to engage in devotional service 24 hours a day. So if we see here, even Acharya Srila Jiva Goswami, then he was teaching Narottam Das Thakur about performing devotional service 24 hours. That's where the Satatam means every single moment. Now at that time, the devotees of the Bengal, they were feeling a kind of a deficiency. Deficiency meaning Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his very intimate associate Nityananda Prabhu, Swarup Damodar, Advaita Acharya, Srivas Thakur, Gadadhar Pandit, like Panchatattva, they all had left the world by that time. And the devotees of Bengal really, missing. So what they did, they requested Jiva Goswami, please send some of your devotees with your books to Bengal. And upon that request, Narottam Das Thakur, Srinivas Acharya and Shamananda, they were sent. And Srila Narottam Das Thakur was sent to the same kingdom where he was born. That place is called Kheturi. Now, as Narottam Das Thakur, he took sannyas, right? He was a sannyasi. So after he left the kingdom, after Narottam Das Thakur's father died, his cousin brother, his name is Santosh Datta, he became the king. However, when the Santosh Datta met Narottam Das Thakur, he was so happy, and when he heard the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from him, he became a devotee. And the Santosh Datta, he accepted the only purpose of his life is assisting Narottam Das Thakur in whatever he want to do. So, as I said, Narottam Das Thakur was a sannyasi, and his cousin brother Santosh, he was a king at a place called Kheturi. However, Santosh, brother Santosh, right? He became devotee. He utilized his whole kingdom to assist Narottam Das Thakur. They both together spread the glories of chanting of holy names. And what happened as outcome? Thousands and thousands of people in that kingdom could understand the higher taste of Krishna consciousness. They all became devotee. So Narottam Das Thakur in that way became a guru of the entire kingdom. Now after that, Narottam Das Thakur, he was corresponding with his spiritual master Lokanath Goswami, who was in Vrindavan. So he told him that here in Kheturi, everyone was initiated by the chanting of holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. He said, in his correspondence, everyone in this place is chanting prescribed number of rounds every day, right? So the people here, they are coming together, they're dancing, chanting, they take prasad together. So by hearing this, Lokanath Goswami, his spiritual master, was tremendously pleased. And what he wrote in back saying, so he sent instruction to Narottam Das Thakur. He said, my desire is, now you install Archa Vigraha. That is the deity of Radha and Krishna and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And there is a reason, because once we have a deity, then it would be helpful for people in the village to learn how to bow down and how to worship the beautiful form of the Lord. So now Narottam Das Thakur, he received the instruction, and then he was wondering where he could find those deities. So on one day, he went to visit a great sadhu who was very renounced. He was always absorbed in the service of Krishna. And after speaking with that sadhu, what he learned, that sadhu is having some difficulty. The sadhu said, there is a small house. It was a warehouse where there are, in that warehouse, there is a rice, grains, everything is kept. However, because of there is a very poisonous snake living in that warehouse, no one could go in to get that grain. Many people are, they were going hungry. So what Narottam Das Thakur, once he heard that difficulty, he said, let me go in. Now, even though it was a very poisonous snake, what Narottam Das Thakur's mood was, Mare Krishna Rakhe Krishna Mare ke. If Krishna wants to protect me, nobody, snake can harm me. And if Krishna wants to kill me, he can do through this snake. And what he then went inside the warehouse, and as he started looking what happened, instead of a snake coming and biting him, he found beautiful deities of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his consort Srimati Vishnupriya. As we know, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is non-different than Krishna himself. And as Krishna stands next to Srimati Radharani, right? So what Narottam Das Thakur he did is actually he bring those deities and he started planning to get them installed. Now, as he and his mood, he's a sannyasi, and he was thinking, now this whole installation, I should not just limit this to the place called Kheturi. His mood was, I want to invite all the Vaishnavas who are present all around in that place, right? That is Khanda, Shrikhanda, Navadvip, and not just Kheturi. So he sent invitations, all the places where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotees are residing. He personally wrote those invitations. And then he also decided a date. And if you know what that date is, it's a day of appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is Gaura Purnima. He decided a date to celebrate that installation of those deities. However, for 40-50 years, since the Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu had disappeared from this earth, there had never been a festival celebrating in the honor of his birth. And after receiving invitation from Narottam Das Thakur, hundreds of devotees all around, they began to start walking towards Kheturi. Hundreds, thousands, right? And as they were walking, they were also kind of preaching. So as they were passing by villages, they were not only just walking, but preaching the glories of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So here what we see the qualities of these great souls, Mahatma. So they are constantly engaged in the services of the devotional service. And how it was described is Like all these devotees are coming from various directions, right? It was like rivers like Ganga, Yamuna, and Saraswati. They are coming together and meet at one sangam. It become a sangam. Sangam means united. Similarly, all these devotees coming in hundreds, and that hundred become thousands, and thousand become tens thousand. So that all combining together, and they were all arrived at Kheturi. And this king Santosh, he helped in every local transportation, logistics, serving those devotees. So if you see here, even though he was a king, he used his kingdom in the serving the devotees of the Krishna. And the mood was all the devotees not walking, chanting, joyfully chanting the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So as these devotees all they come together, and it became like it's a festival environment. Everywhere devotees are meeting each other, they're talking about glories of Krishna, they're chanting the Maha Mantra. Now, even Santosh Dutt, the king, his mood is purpose of serving and pleasing Vaishnavas, because he knew if Vaishnavas are pleased, Krishna will be pleased, right? So Krishna doesn't see how much you have, how much you give him. Rather, he sees how much you hold it back for yourselves. Even Krishna told Uddhava, there is no better way of pleasing me than pleasing my devotees. Now, in that Kheturi, that this whole atmosphere, festive, everyone was so happy, right? One of the direct associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his name is Raghunandan Thakur. He sang a beautiful invocation song, so that marks a beginning of the festival. Now there was another very special person who was attending this festival, and her name is Janva Devi. I think if you know Janva Devi, she's a wife of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, right? So now she was like a presiding acharya at that festival. So all the Vaishnavas, sadhus who were there, they all touched her feet, worshipped them, right? Because her advanced realization in the divine love. And Janva Devi gave her blessing to everyone. Now Narottam Das Thakur began this festival by washing her lotus feet, offering her a garland, putting chandan on her forehead. Now if you see, these are the qualities or activities of Mahatma this verse is talking about. As we are going through this story, right? How Vaishnava, so we see two different characters. One is sannyasi, that is Narottam Das Thakur, and the second is king, who is Santosh Dutt. But their mood is constantly serving. So that's what we are seeing here, that Narottam Das Thakur began the festival washing the lotus feet of Janva Devi. He offered her a garland. He put chandan on her forehead, right? So, and uh, as their devotees are coming from different parts of the Bengal, different, and they have different styles of worship. They have different styles of preaching. Many had slight philosophical differences. However, what Janva Devi did, she completely settled those all disputes, and she showed a common understanding or higher understanding to everyone. Now, Narottam Das Thakur, as we know, I think we also sing many beautiful songs in our temple. What Srila Prabhupada had said, although he has written those songs in a very simple and easy to understand Bengali language, those are equal to highest and most elevated shlokas of the Vedas. And then in the festival, Narottam Das Thakur starts singing. It was accompanied by beautiful mrudangas, kartals, the whole atmosphere. So the whole everywhere the kirtan is going on. That is the satatam kirtayanto. That kirtan was keep going on and on and on and on and on. And what happens? Like a miracle happened, I would say. As this kirtan was going, everybody is in ecstasy. Sri Gaurachandra himself appeared in front of those devotees. Even though he externally left this whole material world, he personally appeared. After that, Lord Nityananda appeared. After that, Advaita Acharya, Srivas Thakur, Vakreshwar Pandit, Haridas Thakur, all appeared and they started dancing along with all the assembled Vaishnavas. Now, by seeing Nityananda Prabhu, Janva Devi, she felt ecstasy and bliss because she was seeing her husband after so many decades. Her heart started overflowing. The sons of Advaita Acharya Prabhu, they felt ecstasy when they saw that their father, the brothers of Srivas Pandit, they saw their beloved brothers again. So this kirtan eventually it become a manifestation of love. So it's not just a kirtan, but that through kirtan they start experiencing the love for the devotees and for the Lord. Narottam Das Thakur was feeling in the heart, if this kirtan ends, we will never see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again. So let's just keep it going forever and ever and ever. So this is where we see the qualities of Mahatma, the great soul that this verse is referring to, that they are constantly engaged. That's what the mood of Narottam Das Thakur is. He was feeling this kirtan should never end because he knew if this end, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that they are seeing now, they may not see him again. But however, as the kirtan continue, because externally, at some moment, it had to come to an end. So then eventually that kirtan come to end, and of course then all the Panchatattva, then they disappear because they appeared and then they disappeared. And then all other devotees, they again start feeling that separation. They started crying in love. They all approached to Janava Devi. And then after that, they perform the installation. Srinivas Acharya Prabhuji perform Abhishek. And then Janva Devi put some red dye on the Krishna's lotus feet. And she said that we should celebrate the festivals of colors, that is holy. And what is interesting is the day on which Gauranga Mahaprabhu appeared in this world is also the day of Holi. So they joined the two together for the pleasure of all devotees. And in this way, this festival went on for the 3 days. And after, as per the request of Narottam Das Thakur and Janva Mata, everyone then went back to their own places. So as we see, this is the whole pastime that I wanted to share, and see the mood of Narottam Das Thakur, seeing the mood of all other Vaishnavas, seeing the mood of Santosh Dutt. Like these are the true qualities of Mahatma, the great soul, and not the artificial Mahatma, right? And in the purport also, Srila Prabhupada give a reference of Srimad Bhagavatam, that is Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam. Now, in this particular verse, Bhagavan Krishna talk about Dridhavrata, that is determination. That's very important word. I know, maybe at least I can speak about me. That is, once I'm done with the chanting for a day, then my mind says, "Ah, I'm done. Then nothing to be done for this day," right? So so we can see that's like the weakness of the mind, or maybe there is not yet a that test yet for the Krishna consciousness. So that's why mind is trying to get engaged to somewhere else once the prescribed rounds of japa is done. So that's where this Drudha word is very important. That how do we how do we do that with the determination? Of course, in the whole year, there are various days for the determination, like Ekadashi, right? Where we fast from grains and beans. Sometimes we do Ekadashi Nirjala. These are the opportunities, or these are the places where devotees get to perform devotional service with determination. And finally, Srila Prabhupada says this devotional service can be performed any position, anywhere in the world. It's not like it is only performed in Vrindavan, or it is only to be performed in Mayapur, it is only to be performed in Jagannath Puri, it is only to be performed in uh, Tirumala. No, this can be performed anywhere. You need not to be a Brahmana. You need not to be a Brahmana with that ceremony done. You just be anywhere and you can perform this devotional service. And then you become actual Mahatma. So with that said, I would like to stop here. I know I took a little longer than 30 minutes. That's but this is I would like to share with you. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. If you have any comments, questions, please share.
Mother Kanta Prabhu, that was pure nectar, and you said, told the story so beautifully. Thank you. We felt like we were in Keturi at the festival. And you made a very good point what Mahatma really means. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mother. And it is always relation to even personally, when I was reading this whole Kheturi and pastime, it was very, very, very relation.
So we shouldn't take that word Mahatma very lightly, huh?
Oh, certainly not. Certainly not. Yeah. And Satatam. So as I said, like Satatam is, at least I see here, we have that at least not only just 2 hours in the morning, but this 1 hour of Bhagavad Gita. Then as devotees also attend many other classes. Those are nothing but out of 24 hours, some devotees might be engaging 5 hours, 6 hours, some maybe 10 hours, 12 hours, who knows, but more towards Satatam. That's something everyone should strive for. I know Srila Prabhupada is definitely an example that he was constantly engaged, and so that's something we need, definitely everyone should aspire for.
I feel the same way. As soon as the rounds are done, time to just go do something else more to your sense gratification rather than more
True.
Krishna consciousness.
Yes. So
Pyari Prabhu always talks about a friend of his in Texas, who was the president of the Texas temple or something, who always used to do at least half his day should be spent in Krishna consciousness, out of 24 hours, at least 12 hours are spent in Krishna consciousness, whether it is cooking for Krishna, whether it is doing kirtan, or whether it is doing deity worship or chanting, or, at least half the time, if not the entire day. And the more you add towards the Krishna's worship and less you add towards your own sense gratification, then slowly, add more time to the second part, rather than we all of us focus on ourselves first, and then
yeah.
do a
Yes,
little bit, but we have to reverse the process, That's what Pyari Prabhu always talks about. One of his friends who at least mindfully does at least 50% of his day should be spent in Krishna consciousness.
But I feel myself very fortunate because at least in this congregation, when I see devotees that truly an inspiration who are engaged in the services. I know myself when I do more services, then I feel myself, oh, I did now so much services, then why should I do again tomorrow? Let me take a break. So my mind thinks that way. Uh, but I know some devotees, they constantly they serve. That's very inspirational.
That's why I was devastated when they canceled this class. At least this class forces me to listen to Krishna consciousness for 1 hour. You know? And I was telling Ganpati, go, even for the speaker, he's spending some time in Krishna consciousness.
True.
So I'm so glad you're continuing this class. Thank you, Mahtamas.
Thank you to you, Mataji. Because of you, I think this class series continued.
This verse makes me think of that verse in the Brahma Samhita, where it says that the highest devotion is attained by slow degrees, by the method of constant endeavor for self-realization, with the help of scriptural evidence, theistic conduct, and perseverance in practice. That secret is with that constant, like here, the Satatam, always.
What is the verse you're quoting, Jiva?
From Brahma Samhita.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which
you
one?
have a copy.
Yeah. Which one is the verse?
Text 59.
59. Okay, I'll go check it out.
Yeah, it's after the normal ones when
Right,
devotees
right.
stop after the
30 something, yeah.
They stop after that, yeah.
Okay, I'll check out the 59th verse. Thank you.
The secret is in that constant.
Constant, right?
The
But
endeavoring has to be constant.
kirtan means to glorify. So if we just learn to glorify Krishna in all that we do,
Yeah.
this kirtan is glorifying the Lord by speaking, by chanting, by hearing. Like Sudevi Priya was saying, as many activities as we can do throughout the day, glorify Krishna with it. And then it's kirtan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember that whole verse, but I think Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also said Kirtaniya Sadahari.
Yes. Yeah. Chaitodarpanam Arjanam.
Oh, Chetodarpanam Arjanam.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
I was feeling lazy today and didn't want to cook anything, but then I thought I'll cook something for Krishna anyway.
Nice.
Great. Hari bol.
If anybody wants aloo parathas, they can come over.
Hari. Krishna.
Is there class tomorrow?
I don't know, Mataji.
Oh, Saturday? Do we? Saturdays. Do we take a break, Jiva?
I don't know.
It used to be your class in the
now
beginning.
I have the cooking and arti at the temple now.
Oh.
On Saturday.
Well, maybe we'll take a break on Saturday then.
Unless someone else.
Yeah, Ganpati Govind said one of the reasons they wanted to discontinue is because they were finding it hard to find speakers, But now we shortened it a little bit. But Madhava Kanta's class was so nectarian, we didn't want to stop.
I know, all the wonderful stories, huh?
I know, it was so beautiful.
Yeah.
I would say it is all. I think Jiva Mataji has given me those copies of Chaitanya Bhagavat. That is helping me.
Oh, so wonderful. Please continue then. Give us this nectar that you're reading.
I don't know, so Devi Priya is back. I don't know if she would like to take up a class or something. She gives nice classes too. I don't know if she got off, I guess.
Since we are not, like you said, since we don't want to do 24/7, we feel nice to have a little break on Saturdays. We shouldn't feel that way.
Saturday we have morning, Mataji, right?
Morning we do. Yeah, morning we have quite. We have lots of classes. We at least for like.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I see a message on WhatsApp regarding the new Bhagavad Gita class of 30 minutes, where Ganpati Govind Prabhuji has shared that the class will be from Monday to Friday, from 7 to 7:30.
Oh, okay. Thank you,
And-
Manishi.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Mataji.
And normally
So-
we were not having classes on Saturday when we used to have class from 7 to 8. So for a couple
Right,
of
right. Yeah,
Saturdays,
that was true. Yeah. Yeah. And Sunday
Okay.
we have that CC class at Laguna Beach if anybody is interested.
Yeah, I would like to.
No,
Yeah.
Mataji, I don't even know what my calendar is because I'm in so many different classes. I have to find out because
Haribol.
Ratha Yatra Prabhu has a class, I even forget which days it is and what time it is, so. But yeah, eventually it's always nice to do Krishna Katha and glorify Krishna.
Yeah, the
to the
nice
degree
thing is
that-
it's going on everywhere, somewhere in the world all the time.
All the
Yeah.
time, yeah.
Yeah. And they said like the bird, every bird has its limitations, how high it can fly. So we can only glorify Krishna to the extent that we are capable, but still we can listen and hear and then repeat what we hear. And then that way we can
Yeah.
do our little bit. Yeah, I would like it at some point, but I'm still getting over my jet lag. I don't even know where I am, what I'm doing, but eventually, yes, I would like to get back to book distribution, do the occasional class.
Okay, good. Nice. Okay.
Okay. If we can stop here, if no other question or comments.
Okay.
One. Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Antakoti Vaishnavvrinda ki Jai.
Jai.
Srila
Prabhupada
Prabhupada
ki jai.
Jai.
Madhava Kanta Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Prabhu ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone.